There's angst right now in the world, a lot of discomfort. And even if you are a peak performer who's always on your game, you may find yourself feeling a bit off right now. I know I certainly have. And it's got me thinking about discomfort quite a bit and how we can work ourselves into more of a state of discomfort in order to get used to hanging out there more. It's not something that's easy, but it's something that I believe is very necessary at this time to work on. You know, we all flee from discomfort, whether it's the temptation to hit that snooze button in the morning instead of getting up early, or escaping to that air-conditioned room when it's blazing hot out, and vice versa, staying in that comfortable, warm room when it's really cold. We all want to avoid that discomfort, and there are physiological reasons for that too. You know, our bodies are comfortable staying in a happy medium, and we do have to push outside of that more and more in order to adapt and handle the stressors in our environment in that state of discomfort that makes us squirm and want to flee. It's actually the release of this hormone called dynorphin, which causes more of that discomfort than just in our minds. There is a physiological reason for it. And you know, when you reach that breaking point, whether it's during a run or while you're sitting in a sauna and you start to get that feeling that you want to quit or give up or get out, those are all signs of this dynorphin release. And we're seeing that at large in the world right now with all of the uncertainty and the stress that's being caused in the media. We all are just squirming and feeling very uncomfortable about things and uncertain. And we're uncomfortable because we don't know what's coming next. What's around that next horizon? What's the next negative piece of news that's going to come? Where is the hope that's coming soon? Or is it coming soon? And we don't really know. And that uncertainty is really what's making us feel so uncomfortable right now. But training ourselves to better handle that discomfort and get it under our control is one of the factors that we can use to remain more optimistic right now, because it's those factors that are under your control that really dictate what leads to you feeling a sense of security or a sense of somewhat safety in your immediate environment versus all those external factors. And so the question is, do we remain in a state of comfort, or do we push ourselves more into things that are uncomfortable? And as a peak performer, you know the answer here. We have to push ourselves a little bit further than we are comfortable. And that's where flow comes too. You know, it's right on that razor's edge of what we can handle versus what we can't handle that we find our flow the most. And this is the same thing with any other state of performance. We need to get used to not always having the easy road ahead of us. But there is good news here, and it's that we don't live in this constant state of suffering forever. After that dynorphin release that makes us squirm, that makes us feel uncomfortable, that makes us want to quit, we actually have another physiological response to compensate for that, and kind of like a reward system really for it, in that endorphins get released subsequently. And so you're probably familiar with the idea of the runner's high and other things like that. When we get into flow, we see the release of endorphins as well. And this comes after that struggle phase, after that time where we want to quit. Once we drop into flow, once we have pushed ourselves past that comfort zone long enough, our bodies actually reward ourselves for it. And our brains help with releasing this endorphin. And so know that it's coming, and there is that sunshine on the horizon if you just keep pushing. And just a few examples that I can share recently that hopefully give some insight or lets you feel like you can push forward too, is a lot of people are really afraid of the whole cold plunge or cold water exposure. This is something that I've seen over time with my own practice to get very easy quite quickly as you practice it more and more. The first few times you definitely want to jump away from the water right away and you don't want to stay in there. But over time, as you get used to it, it actually becomes less and less scary. And because there is this release of norepinephrine, there's a dopamine release with cold exposure, it actually starts to feel good and you start to look forward to it more. And also, if you've been training really hard, it feels good to get that anti-inflammatory effect from the cold. And so it starts to become something that you actually look forward to. And, when you do hard things like that most people are afraid to or unwilling to do, it just gives you another level of confidence in yourself to be able to handle other types of adversity. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the cold exposure. Choose a challenge for yourself, something that's just above what you're capable of doing. Make sure that you stay safe and healthy. You're not getting injured doing it, but pick something that is rather intimidating to you and work towards accomplishing it. Another thing for me recently was the challenge to run and start running for the first time actually in about 12 years really. And the first run I did was 5K at 4 a.m. And this was quite the challenge above and beyond my capabilities at the time. I still pushed through it. It was something that left me needing to recover for quite a few days afterwards, but I got over it. And, now we're about 2 months later, and I actually pushed myself with another challenge in running a 9-kilometer loop just this past weekend. And, that's something that just a few months ago I would definitely not be able to do. And it actually didn't feel that bad, and I wasn't beat up or dying from it. And it just goes to show that it's a lot in our mental framework is what holds us back from things. So hopefully that's some reassurance that, you can train yourself to get mentally stronger, and it's more so that which holds us back than our physical bodies in a lot of ways. So just keep pushing through and just keep trying and slowly but surely make progress each and every time you go out to challenge yourself. And so that's all I wanted to share today. It's important that we continue to remind ourselves of doing these challenges that get us into states where we're not totally comfortable in order to accomplish those bigger goals and find our flow. So thanks for watching as always. Remember, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit that button and subscribe. Also hit the thumbs up and like this video. And until next time, dream on and find your flow.